I have opinions on how Pokemon handles their lore. What they like to do in the writer's room is make a bunch of cool concepts up. Ooh, there's one. Ooh, there's another one there. Oh, look at that little scamp. Wonder what he's gonna do. Nothing. He's gonna do nothing. He's gonna wait like a good little concept. The first Pokemon game I was able to appreciate as a game with lore was Pokemon Platinum. At the time, I appreciated the lore of Gen 4 as its own standalone mishmash with my understanding of creationism with my sweater and short-wearing Catholic school upbringing. But as I grew older, played Persona 4 Golden on my second-hand PS Vita, did my own research into classics, and grew a wider appreciation of the fact that this little guy here? Bad boy, bad mutt, bad. After two highly controversial remakes and one Monster Hunter backstory, I think there's definitely a story here. Most Pokemon fans know this, but if you don't, Sinnoh and Generation 4 as a whole shares heavy ties with real-life Shintoism. Shinto, as described by the AsiaSociety.org, is the way of the gods, Japan's native belief system, and predates history. This isn't to say Sinnoh, and I suppose Hisui's, lore are beholden to just Shintoism, as many Western fans have grown up and recognized that their own beliefs, religious or otherwise, can be found from the themes, texts, and certainly the designs in Generation 4, a generation that shines a very, very, very dim light on deific beings and apocrypha. So with that said, why is the lore so blah? To TLDR, 3 games and 2 hacky sacks we call remakes, I guess. Arceus was born, Arceus made the world. Arceus made 3 temper tantrums. 1 temper tantrum had problems, TM. So Arceus shoved it into a little playpen pocket dimension we call the distortion world. Arceus made 3 baby babushkas that I guess can calm the other 2 deity dinos down when they go into beast mode, and that's it. That's the Sinnoh creation story. Oh, and all the dinos can go either horse or snake mode. The origin forms don't really have a real in-game explanation, so the fans are just kind of given the whole shebang to run around and have fun with. Do you notice anything? Anything wrong? Come on, say it like I'm Dora. That's right, the puzzle pieces here don't exactly go together in a nice little satisfying click, do they? Things just kind of happen. I've got this super attractive thing called a creative writing degree, that's right, yeah, give me the choice, and I want to use it. I took it upon myself to take all of the pre-existing Sinnoh creationist lore that it currently exists and elevate it. I'm joking about, but writing lore for games is hard. Not all players are going to experience the same things in the same order, and not all players are going to ride their mudbear and sniff about for poetry about mochi. That's a real thing that you have to do in Legends Arceus. I respect the tasks that Pokemon writers are always given, and I'm doing this as a fan of the series who wants to stoke fires for better stories in the future. Not any of that. Before I tell my little dusty bedtime story, I want to share the Shinto creation story and some other stories relating to the whole shebang, as it's helped inform some of the choices I make in my own retelling of the story for Sinnoh. The Cliff Notes version of Shintoist creationism is as follows. In the beginning, the world split into the heavens and earth with 3 kami of the heavenly realm. Then the first reeds took root and sprouted, and 2 more kami came to be. These 5 kami were formless and acted on their own. However, pairs of kami were born in the following generations. The final and 7th generation was the male Izanagi no Mikoto and the female Izanami no Mikoto. At this time, the land was yet to be formed and floating aimlessly. So, the older kami tasked Izanagi and Izanami with bringing order to the world and granted them a sacred spear with which to do so. The 2 created the first island, Onokoroshima, and made it their home, Skipping to Izanagi's very, very bad day, Izanami was gravely injured giving birth to the Fire Kami and died. Izanagi mourned and missed her terribly, and before long decided to travel to the land of the dead to get her back. By the time Izanagi arrived and found Izanami, she had already eaten food of the underworld. This meant she was unable to return. Izanagi pleaded with Izanami until she agreed to ask the deities of the land of the dead if she could return to the country they were still in the process of making. Before she went to ask, Izanami made one request. She forbade Izanagi from following her, and he was to wait outside until she returned. Izanagi agreed. Izanagi grew impatient. She was taking too long. He decided to disregard her request and went to look for her. To his horror, he discovered her as a frightful, decaying corpse. Izanami was furious at being seen, and Izanagi fled in terror. He quickly exited the land of the dead. Izanami chased after him, but she soon found her way blocked by a large boulder and could follow Izanagi no further. Izanagi had placed the boulder, and so trapped Izanami in the land of the dead. After his escape, Izanagi declared the land of the dead an ugly and defiled place, and purified himself by cleansing. As Izanagi washed his face, 3 significant kami were born. The sun kami, Amaterasu Omikami, from his left eye, the moon kami, Tsukuyomi no Mikoto, from his right eye, and the kami of the seas, Susanoo no Mikoto, from his nose. Izanagi gave these 3 children the duties of ruling the heavenly realm, the night realm, and the seas. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Why do you always fall asleep during dusty story time? Yes, I may have gone a bit more than just the creation story, but isn't it funny that there are lots and lots of parallels here with lots and lots of the Sinnoh region's legendary Pokémon? Isn't it nice to know that there's a reason for Heatran existing? Remember Heatran? Poor guy. Now, obviously I'm not going to be completely rewriting this creation story with Pokemon. That would be silly, and we can't be having horrific childbirth in our children's JRPG from 2007. So, as a basis, I will still be basing the story with the game's events at its core. However, let's see if you can spot the parts of the Shinto scripture that I did adapt, and perhaps any other mythos you can derive out too. Now, what's this? Is this a VHS tape? Whoa, these are really old now. Older than Nintendo Wii U from 2006. Isn't that crazy? The Wii's old enough to drink. Oh, it's starting. From time immemorial, the deific ones placed themselves upon the throne of our creation. That is divinity. That is their right bestowed upon them by the original one. The beginning was a miracle. From nothing came everything. The original one was born from prayers not yet told and hymns not yet sung. As they opened their eyes for the first time, 1,000 arms took it upon themselves to carry their body. This was the primordial world. Arches grew from the stone freshly sown, so as to free the being from the arms that gifted Genesis, so they could travel their star with their own force. Nothing. The being had created a star with nothing. They could not will it upon themselves to exert their own abilities to move the star. They could, however, continue to create. This bout of creation birthed a light so strong that they could finally see the star they brought into existence. They were blinded with this glistening white. They understood that this glow was too brilliant, too shining to truly see. They thrashed their body against the fresh crust below and chipped away at their flesh, giving themselves as a vessel for the light. In chipping their body away, they split this light into 18 slabs that dripped differing hues, refracting, contracting, containing the bright, and leaving in their wake 3 misshapen stones that glistened in the infant dawn that sat upon the star's newborn horizon. From these stones, the original one carved 3 forms that shone adamant, lustrous, and griseous in an approximation of their former visage, for this was all they knew. The first to awaken were 2 sets of twin eyes that cracked and thrashed. These beings were born with a goal and a star to give themselves to eternally. As soon as both of their crimson eyes shone, the expanse beyond the star grew, and the horizon the original one gave a beginning to had started to move with eloquence and care. They had given the star the space to breathe and time to grow. The original one knew not how to experience this moment. What they did know is that these children were going to give themselves to their star, and for that, they were to be crowned. The original one carved 2 arches similar to their own and bestowed them onto their twin lights. The twins and their creator experienced 6 days, 4 minutes, and 9 seconds of creating fertile land, deep oceans, and skies to guard the star. This was the time it took for the 3rd child to be born. The original one gazed upon their creation and was met not with crimson eyes of wonder, but black tendrils that blinded and choked the child's own form, keeping its eyes shut. Time and space noticed this aggression, coming to their creator's aid. They attacked the aggressor in a moment of haste, allowing the creature to open its eyes and give birth to the antithesis of all they had created in those 6 days, 4 minutes, and 9 seconds. The light that shone became ravenous. The fields began to sprout stalactites of stone. The time that had been lived, the space that was yet to expand, were both destroyed, reconfigured into horrors unforeseen. The aggressor's claws grew wide and held the star in its grasp. It knew. It warned. The original one was weak, worn by the fatigue of their own creation. They knew. They were foolish. Darkness lasted until time awoke. Their color shone, bleeding into their surroundings, reflecting the azure glow onto their prison, thrashing and crashing into the stone, chipping, flying. This awoke space, who breathed into the shapeless realm. A breeze flowed through a piece of this blue, chipped, hollowed stone. It resonated so far and loud that the rage of the aggressor began to quell, while invigoration, inspiration, sparked within their creator. The original one thrashed once again at stone beneath, creating 3 infant children, rashly, quickly. They embedded the 3 with concealed crimson eyes that would see their creations protected, with the ability to calm the rage of their own children. The infants awoke with haste, with instinct. They joined their hands and formed a bright red halo, a red large enough to consume the entirety of the black mass with its glow. The aggressor's tendrils dissipated into mists, leaving only claws and its own ashen ire. The original one grew a strength unlike before. The infant children manifested the 18 colored plates from the memories of their creator, forming the jewel we know now as life. This light gave them a new understanding and appreciation for what they made, but also with an acknowledgement, the understanding this aggressor knew within itself. It inhibited a power that would undo the star, not as punishment but a heed. It knew this was not a course its creator saw. This was its value. So a boon was made. The aggressor could keep this star, so long as all the creations that gave meaning to life could make a home on a new one. With no words spoken, the aggressor and its star were sealed within space's grasp and time's hold. 7 days, 7 minutes, and 7 seconds passed. The original one shone bright in the sky with their golden arches, looking forward to the dawn of their 8th day, as they were to gift the 18 colors that saved their star to the civilization that came to grow. They understood this jubilance, thanks to the infant children, spirits who gave the gift of humanity, learned through the aggressor's complexities, the knowledge to live, the emotions to live, and the will to live. As each day passed, the people born from the Creator's new star sought to celebrate their deities, writing stories that gave birth to legends, carving into stone depictions of a brilliant creator, Diamond Timekeeper, Pearl Space Weaver, and as traces began to seep through the cracks of this new reality, they learned of a platinum aggressor. As time and space governed from afar, they became individuals unto themselves, shedding their arches and complicating their own understandings of their birthrights. As a final act of harmony, they gifted humanity with a song they would never forget. A song that saved their creator. A song that became humanity's prayer. A song that the original one heeds when played upon a flute that shines the azure of the realm from beyond, from atop the hall they reside within the golden sky. Hi, thanks for watching. What did you think? Did everything there make sense? I hope it did. If you'd like to see me tackle a different Pokemon legend or myth, I'm interested to see which in the comments. I don't claim to be an expert on mythology or the like, but it is a big passion of mine, and I had a lot of fun doing the research and putting all the bits together to make this. Feel free to follow me on socials, do a subscribe, and maybe, just maybe, we can see each other again. Bye bye.